Ladies and gentlemen, Shabbat Shalom, page 367, Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Torah, 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 Shiva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Shiva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Torah Shiva lanu Moshe.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are celebrating a little bit early, sort of preparatorily for the festival of Shavuot. I could use a prayer book. Let me move that over here. Okay. The festival of Shavuot. I'll be talking more, if you're not familiar with Shavuot, I'll be talking about it a little more later in our service. But it is a holiday of many things, and as I'll be talking about, it represents how our tradition has changed and evolved, and layers of meaning put over layers of meaning over time, because it is the festival of the harvest and the barley harvest. It's the festival of the first fruits when they were brought to the temple in Jerusalem as offerings. It is the festival of the giving of Torah at Mount Sinai. It is a festival with many names, and there are many traditions, and if you look up where do these traditions come from, nobody knows. It all says nobody knows, but it could be this, it could be that. So white is a color of Shavuot. Thank you, many of you, for wearing white. You didn't have to, but you could in the spirit of the holiday. You can see we have some beautiful white flowers that will still be beautiful for our confirmation service. That is our official Shavuot celebration on Sunday morning, which will be amazing. And white, dairy, the eating of dairy. Why dairy? And everything says, we don't know why, so we don't know why. But people put meanings on it. It could be that Torah, I've heard all different things. Torah is as easy to take in and digest as dairy. Well, really? That's not very easy for many Ashkenazi Jews. I don't eat dairy at all, so I'm not sure if that analogy really works. But the idea is that dairy is very easy to digest. So Torah goes down like dairy with lactate. How about that? That works. There's also a tradition that because Torah includes the rules around keeping kosher, that when the Israelites, this is definitely an anachronism, this is not historically correct, but that the Israelites went back home after they were at Mount Sinai, and they realized they couldn't eat meat because now they had certain kashrut laws around their meat, and so they couldn't eat their meat, so they could only eat dairy. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting little interpretations of the dairy. But we do have very yummy dairy. That is factual. We have very yummy dairy products at the Oneg, if you are able. We do not have lactate pills with them. Maybe next year I will remember to do that. So that's Shavuot. And there is a reading for Shavuot on page 389 in our prayer book. Now summer's prospect, the world ripening and growing softer, the promise of harvest fulfilled. The warming sun lies before us. Yes, it does, as it was a heat advisory today. Now the vision of Torah, the world at peace and growing gentler, the promise of goodness fulfilled, the loving heart lies open to the mind. And that's our little Shavuot poem. Thank you to all of you for being here to celebrate Shabbat and also kind of get ready to celebrate Shavuot. Thank you to our president, Matthew Meyer, our music leaders, Andy Sussman and Ruth Pavlo, our tech guru, Xavier, in the back. Thank you to you at home for joining us as you are able from home, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Candles will be lit by Fran and Billy Kraft, and candle lighting can be found on page 120. And as they're coming up, I'll say Shavuot is a festival of learning, Jewish learning, and Fran has previously taken my Overview of Judaism class. Billy is currently taking my Overview of Judaism class. They are indeed, like many of you here, lifelong learners. They're trick candles.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvato v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed art thou, blessed are you, God, source of all life, who brings us holiness through a mitzvot and who has given us the mitzvah of lighting the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Yeshkach. Lecha Dodi, our song also welcoming Shabbat along with the lighting of our candles. Page 138, a song where we welcome the Shabbat bride. And that is one of the many explanations of white on Shavuot, that in a sense we can look at it as like the covenant is like a marriage ceremony between God and the Jewish people, and that's part of what the white is. So our Shabbat bride is especially dressed up tonight, I suppose. Lecha Dodi, page 138.
Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, ישמענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נשוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום, עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך המוני העם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. And I'd like to call up our rising bar mitzvah, Elijah Aronson, to lead us in Chatzi Kaddish. Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144. I'll give you space. $144.
Leviat Kadash Shemei Rabba. Amen. Yama Divra Hirte Vim Lech Malchute Lechaye Choluv Yomecha Ufchaye Decho Bet Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman Kariv
Amen. Yishmei Rabbam Mevorach Leolam Amen. Yitbarach.
Yitbarach V'yeshaba V'yitbar V'yitnama V'yitnase V'yitadar V'yithale V'yithala Shemei Dekudesha
Erichu.
Le'elam Min Kol Barachata V'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata damihiran b'yama. Amen. Yeshua, thank you. And we continue with Baruch Hu, which is on your song sheet. If you're able, you may rise.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Leolam Va'ed. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Page 152 is Shema, one of those teachings handed down at, as our tradition says, at Sinai. Sinai really being, I think, a metaphor for a sense of all of the Jewish people together, accepting the fact that these teachings, this wisdom, is something that guides us over time. We've never really been all united on how to do that, ever. So, but on some level, we know that even though there are many different approaches and perspectives to living Judaism, to being a Jew, to living a good Jewish life, we're all in it together. We're all doing it in a way that we feel serves both ourselves and in a way that brings our unique gifts out to the world. So Shema is one of those teachings. And what does it mean? It means something about paying attention, that we have a God that is echad, that is uniting, that should be bringing us together in some way, and we strive to figure out how to make that happen, how to live that out, which is always a challenge in many ways. Shema on page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. Page 154, talking about the love that we have for holiness and godliness, the love that we hope to surround ourselves with by remembering to notice and mark our blessings in life. V'ahavta, page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta baham, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvekumecha, ukshartam laot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Michamocha, another celebration from the Torah, from the book of Exodus. Michelle Citrin's joyous version. Michamocha should always be joyous, but you probably know many Michamocha tunes are almost funereal. And I never understood that because we always say, and Moses and Miriam, they sang with joy. And then you sing, Michamocha. That's what I grew up. I grew up with that sort of Michamocha. And I liked it. It was pretty, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense in context. So I try to stick to tunes that at least have a tune that kind of matches what it's trying to say, which is expressions of joy in God and in hope for the future. So I find Michelle Citrin's melody to be one of those joyful tunes, joyful settings, and her Michamocha is on your song sheet.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar ba'kodesh norat tehilot, osef eleh, norat tehilot, osef eleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar ba'kodesh norat tehilot, osef eleh, norat tehilot, osef. Let me hear ya. Malchutecha,
Malchutecha,
ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam,
bokei hayam,
lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli,
ze'eli,
anu ve'ameru, Adonai, imloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar ba'kodesh norat tehilot, osef eleh, norat tehilot, osef eleh. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
V'shamru, who wants to help lead V'shamru? Oh my goodness, they're getting too old. Elijah, you want to come up to lead V'shamru? Yeah, no, I can't tell what that was. Oh yeah, that was a getting up. Okay. Molly, are you getting, she's double digit age now, so she's too cool. All right, V'shamru, another joyful song. Ah, that's a good thinking. So V'shamru is about how this Shabbat day is a sign of the loving relationship between God and the Jewish people. So as we up here lead, you follow. So time to get up, everyone. Okay.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם בעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
So this is how it is when you become a fifth grader. All right. It used to be older. They used to stay kind of childlike longer, but it's a tough world we live in. Okay. Well, it's not a tough world when Elijah is up at our bima leading us. So, So we are continuing with the central portion of our worship service, which is the tefillah. beginning with the Adonai Sifatai Tiftach that is on your song sheet by Charlie Kramer, has become a TBO favorite. And we continue as after that on page 164, I think. On page 166. Okay.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach. Yagid Tehilatecha. Open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole, and we will praise your name. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach. Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'Nechem, Leman Shemo Be'aha. Melech Hoser Umoshia Umagin Baruch atah Adonai Megin Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Leoshia Morid Chatal Mechakel Hayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, somech novli verofei holim, umatir asuri, umechaye umato lishene afar, michamocha bagivurot, umidon elah. Melech mi umachaye umat mia Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shincha kadosh ukdoshim bechol yom yahalalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai ha'el HaKadosh.
Shakoach, beautiful, thank you. I have a longtime friend from rabbinical school who watches our services and is an Elijah fan. Elijah, so she has mentioned you by name. So we continue with a moment of silent reflection, with the prayers of our hearts, with the prayers in the prayer book, and we continue either standing or sitting. shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom b'romav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom b'romav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom aleinu. Shalom b'romav. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom b'romav. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol We send our thoughts and prayers to all those in need of physical healing, emotional healing, those in our community and around the world. On this Shabbat, we especially think of Paul Aronson, David Appel, Shari Estalos, Judy Averbach, Pat Breitkopf, Ethan Campbell, Sandra Chesler, Brian Clohessy, Randy Clohessy, Jay Crystal, Terry Darmody, Roy Zabat Shmuel Uvat Sheva, Shar Friedman, Tracy Janetta, Julian Kaner, Marion Kostrinsky, Marty Kiefer, Mark Merberg, Claude Rabinowitz, Arnold Reamer, Rosalie Saltiel, Louise Samuels, Bobby Sherman-Gieshin, Herman Spring, Robin Stein, Carla Teisch, Katie Weinstock, Lori Weinstock. Are there others we wish to think of at this time? We send out our prayer for healing, Misha Beirach, and wish and hope and pray for healing for all of these people and all who are not feeling whole this week. Misha Beirach is on your song sheet.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim Misha Beirach Avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, Hu Yevarech וירפא את החולים. אל נא רפא נא רע, אל נא רפא נא רע, אל נא רפא נא רע, אל נא רפא נא רע. מי שבירך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים.
Do we must have June anniversaries, because that is a very popular time to get married. Any June birthdays or anniversaries, come on forward. Candy is coming. I sent our president to go fetch it. So, whoop. Where'd the mic go? Oh. It was not where I left it. So welcome up, and you're all set for your wine therapy party. I see on your shirt. It's very cute. So face, we can face out into the world. Welcome June birthdays and anniversaries. So yay. I also want to mention my baby is June 26 in Israel right now, and she is turning 30 years old. I know, that is insane. Thank you, Molly, for dramatically acting out my feelings at this time. Okay, so Arlene, say if it's birthday, anniversary, when, if you want to say anything about years, you can, it's optional.
Our anniversary, June 4th, 46 years.
Mazel tov. That's right, I saw that on Facebook.
My birthday is June 15, and I'm getting older.
Okay. But drinking wine and it makes
That's
it all
right.
better. Okay.
Hi, I'm Belle, and June 22nd is my birthday, and I will be 50.
Oh, you're a baby. So Mazel Tov. June is such a wonderful month to have a marriage anniversary. I did, in fact, I remember on your Facebook post, you listed the name of a song that I assume was played at your wedding, which makes sense given, you know, the age, the boomery sort of, age. But I couldn't remember, and I had to Google it, and I was like, oh, of course, it's John Denver. I was huge John Denver fan at that time. It was For Baby for Bobby. So anyway, a little bit of trivia about the Baumel's wedding. And may it be a birthday and a year of good health, of joy, of fulfillment, of learning and growing in some fun new ways. So we join in Shehechianu, which is our blessing for reaching this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. We give thanks to celebrate this moment. Amen.
Mazel Tov. And also want to mention Mazel Tov to the Auerbachs, because it is their 50th wedding anniversary. Do you know exactly when? Oh, 60th. We shaved a few years off there, but 60th. 60th. Well, Mazel Tov to them. And I want to explain another blessing that's going on now. This is called Birkat HaGomel. It is Birkat HaGomel, sometimes it's referred to as benching Gomel, is a very short prayer of thanks for someone who has escaped some kind of very dangerous situation of some kind. So just so you know, if anybody, hopefully, you know, this won't affect anybody, but if somebody has some kind of serious health crisis or an accident or something dangerous and they come through it, you can say this blessing publicly. It's just one line, but I want to call up Hallie Meyer, who we are extremely grateful. She looks amazing. If you would like, Matthew has offered to have this up here as what he calls show and tell. I don't even know if I can pick this up. Yeah, I can. Okay. This is, I don't know, about 15 pounds? I don't know. This is an extremely heavy, huge piece of metal that, for unknown reasons, crashed through Hallie's passenger side window as she was driving and hit her in the head. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful, and that you didn't wash it. Oh my goodness. Well, I got stuff on my hands, but okay. But we are very, very grateful that she can see and she has no concussion. She has a little bruising. It is really kind of miraculous, and this is a perfect opportunity to bench Gomel. So if you want to, I was going to give this to you ahead of time, and I forgot. So are you okay? I have it in Hebrew, and then I have it in the transliteration, and then English. So what happens is you say this in Hebrew and English, and then you will repeat after me to say back to Hallie.
Okay, so Baruch atah Adonai.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel lahavim tovim
Gemalani.
Gemalani kol tov.
Great.
Blessed are you, Adonai, source of all life, who grants favor to all godly creatures and who has blessed me with goodness.
And then we say to her, me shegimalech kol tov, who yigimalech kol tov, Selah. May the Holy One who blessed you with goodness favor you with goodness forever. Amen. Yes, so. May any accident that may happen in the future similarly have her coming through with flying colors, healthy and happy, maybe a little bit bruised, but that goes away. So we are very grateful. Thank you. Clean up here. Okay, so Shavuot. Shavuot is a solid and clear example of how ancient rituals and traditions evolved over time into Judaism as we know it in 2024. If you look for info on this festival in the Torah, it's pretty much all about the harvest. The Torah calls it Chag HaKatzir, the festival of the harvest. And I'm sure before the Torah, it was just basically a harvest festival that everybody celebrated because, you know, it makes sense to celebrate when the harvest comes in and you have food. As the years went on and as the Israelite people moved through history, it became a time when Israelites would bring the offerings of their first fruits that they grew, their first fruits of the harvest, bring it to the priests in the Jerusalem temple to offer up. And as that it was called Yom HaBikurim, Day of the First Fruits, another name for our holiday. And then hundreds of years of the temple and people coming to Jerusalem to bring their offerings. And finally, the year 70 CE comes, which, as many of you know by now, was the major watershed year. Jerusalem's destroyed by the Romans, the temple's destroyed, and Judaism has to be completely reinvented. We don't have our land, we don't have our city, we don't have our temple, we don't have our priesthood, we have no way to bring sacrifices. Everything is different. So the festival of Shavuot, among many other things, needs to be redefined. It couldn't any longer be rooted in things that didn't exist anymore. The Israelites farming in the land of Israel, that's not a thing anymore. Israelite farmers bringing their crops to the temple to offer up to the priests, no longer a thing. So Judaism had to become more of the head than of the land. Because no matter where our people would go in the world, we always had our knowledge, we always had our wisdom. That came with us, that could never be taken away. So Shavuot becomes a festival of Jewish wisdom, what we have, the Torah. Our early rabbis in the first couple of centuries CE remade this national celebration for a modern time and made it into a festival of the giving of the Torah by God to the Jewish people. So what now connects us, now meaning like the year 100, what now connects us to what is holy and godly is now learning, study, ideas, values, lessons. These are all things that can come with us no matter where we go. And the festival takes on another new name, Zman Matan Toratenu, the time of the giving of our Torah. So since we are now celebrating the giving of Torah, it's appropriate for us to ask, what does it mean that we were given Torah? What were we given? Or maybe more applicable to us than the giving, what does it mean to us to receive Torah, to live Torah? And especially because things that were taught in the Torah, we know, were changed and modified, really ever since these stories were first told. We just learned that the rabbis needed to change things that the Torah teaches about this holiday because times were totally different than they were in the world, in the ancient world of the Torah. Well, thanks for asking these great questions, these big questions. I thought about the meaning of what does it look like to live Torah at our overview of Judaism class the other night. Some of you were there. Because the question came up, what does it mean to be religious? And what is always clear when this comes up in Jewish circles is that the word religious, which of course is not a Jewish word, it's an English word, it's not our word, but that word religious in English has been really almost completely co-opted by the most right-wing faction of the Jewish community, to the point where even committed Reform Jews believe that they are not religious because they, meaning most everyone who I have ever talked to about this, completely buy into the one very narrow definition of what being religious is in the Jewish world. I should hope it's very obvious to everybody here that that being a patriotic American does not mean you are a political conservative. The American flag and patriotism is for all Americans equally, from all across the political spectrum. I should hope it's obvious to everyone here that an Israeli who participates in regular protests against the Netanyahu government in Tel Aviv is not anti-Zionist. A supporter of the state of Israel can be anywhere on the political spectrum, can be an Israeli who is pro-Netanyahu, anti-Netanyahu, somewhere in the middle. Patriotism, being a Zionist, equally belongs to everyone. But why is it that when it comes to defining who is a good Jew or a religious Jew or a Jew dedicated to Torah, we relinquish our place in that camp? Because, oh, well, only the very right wing can be religious. No. On this festival of Torah, we Reformed Jews proudly declare ourselves Torah true. That is a little bit of lingo I have often heard from either the very Orthodox or the Hasidic. We Reformed Jews are Torah true. We understand that Torah is the earliest stories of our people back in ancient times. It is the foundation of Judaism, but it's not Judaism itself. Judaism doesn't begin until we start using these early Torah stories to guide our overall values. When we use Torah to say, these are some ideas that come from it that should guide how we live, but with the understanding that it all needs to be constantly reinterpreted, just as the rabbis did 2,000 years ago. Even in the year 100, our rabbis were hard at work redefining and reshaping ideas and beliefs and customs that were in the Torah, as they preserved the underlying values that the Torah teaches. And in the year 2024, that is exactly what we do as Reformed Jews. Our Torah teaches many values, and some of them are outlined in my beautifully designed Jewish values pamphlet that you have all seen sitting out in the lobby for the last, well, since the High Holy Days, I think. A list of values. They are Torah values that we strive to live here in our community and outside in the world. They include the value of caring for those who are vulnerable, sharing what we have so that the entire community is uplifted, treating others with respect, with special regard, as it says in the Torah many, many times, with regard to strangers, to outsiders, to all who society marginalizes. The holiness within each individual person, and the fact that no human being is closer to God than any other human being. Giving tzedakah, marking special moments in our lives and the lives of others, supporting community members in times of sorrow and in times of joy. These are all Torah values that we strive to live. The rabbis didn't simply reshape or redefine for the year 100 or the year 200 in a specific region of the world. They came up with the approach to Judaism that continues on. Each generation must carry these Torah values and apply them appropriately to their time and place, as the rabbis did in their time. Living Jewishly means we are always constantly examining, analyzing, stepping back to ensure, as we look at kind of the big picture, to make sure we're not living out some kind of concretized tradition that has become either meaningless or in some cases actually unethical and offensive. Living Torah means we are always questioning, always using our critical thinking and our compassion to look at our Jewish practice, making sure it is always helping us live our best lives as individuals and our best as a society. On this Chag Matan HaTorah, This festival that has evolved into a celebration of our Torah learning and values that help us strive for holiness. May we be strong in our commitment to Reform Judaism, our commitment to live our highest values every day, to strive for a better, more respectful, more caring world. Amen. And Arlene, we call Arlene up as our duty trustee. You're getting experienced. I can see you are quite relaxed. You know what you're doing now as a duty trustee. She's on it. And you can let us know some things happening at TBO this week.
I know things happening, and I know all the faces.
Yeah, there
now.
you go. It
So-
doesn't take long. There you go.
Okay, so welcome to Shabbat Services here at Temple Beth Orr. I'd like to thank Rabbi Rappaport and our president, Matthew Meyer, our cantorial soloist, Andy Sussman, our wonderful musical accompanist, Ruth Pavlov, and Xavier Leff in the back, who is our technology expert. As I found out recently how good he really is when he did the open mic. Okay, so some things coming up this weekend at Temple Beth Orr. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock is Torah discussion. And then on Sunday, that's tomorrow, June 8th, on Sunday, June 9th, 10 a.m. is the confirmation service. I know that it's three?
There are.
Okay. Three students are being confirmed tomorrow. I know Rabbi Rappaport has been working very hard with them, and she is really excited about this. So please come out and see those students be confirmed this Sunday. Next week at TBO, Monday, June 10th, 12 p.m. is Mahjong, and on Tuesday, June 11th, there will be no Tuesday Tanakh, so that's canceled for this week. And then our new fiscal year starts on July 1st. So just to remind people that you should have received your membership packets in the mail. Please make sure you get those back by July 1st as the start of the new fiscal year. So that's all I have to announce today.
Thank you. And we also will be joined on Sunday by our wonderful past confirmation class. It includes Brooke Reynolds right here. I just want to see if you're paying attention. And we have some future confirmands who I think will also be there. So, Aleinu, I'd like to call up Laurel. There you are. Griefer to open our ark for Aleinu. Aleinu is on page 586. And if you're able, you may rise. Okay, there you go. Take this.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Holiday whites. Whoops, see, I don't do that. What I just did. You may be seated. Thank you, Yeshua. We think of all those who are no longer with us, those who live on in our hearts, in our memories, who live on still in all the ways that they touched those around them, the ways they brought their unique gifts to our world. On this Shabbat, we remember during his time of Shiva, former founding member, former TBO president, Larry Johnson, husband of Leslie Johnson. And you all received emails. If anyone would like to attend the funeral or Shiva, you have those in your email, those details. And during her time of Shloshim, Thea Meller, sister-in-law of Sophie Pollack. And those whose yartzites fall this week: Joseph D. Barzilai, Hai Bendersky, Jacob Black, Richard Breen, Nathan Brown, Samuel Fry, Charles First, Helen Galitzian, Irving Golub, Clara Levinson, Alan Meltzer, Leonard Potruk, Samuel Rappaport, Donna Robbins, Larry Scher, Charles Suisa, Ann Tannhauser, George Trimble, Miriam Weiner, Julia Ann Zacher. Are there others we wish to remember at this time? We honor all of their memories as we recite Mourner's Kaddish on page 598, and you may rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirute v'amlech malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha berichu. La'ela min kol berachata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiran bialma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. You may be seated. We move from our sacred prayer of memory to the joy of Shabbat. And I'd like to call up Shar and Sophie, who happen to be on the aisle there, so that's handy enough, to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. Let me now clear a space for you with all my paper. And okay, and here's Kiddush. So help yourself to a cup. Kiddush is on page 123. It's a grape product of some kind. Okay, 123.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemase bereshit, ki hu yom techila, lamikrae kodesh, zecher l'siyat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, b'kol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Grape juice? Okay, well, that's probably good. And motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Hamotzi
Hamotzi
lechem
min haaretz.
Amen. You may dig into your challah as we can, and Elijah and Molly have gone out to get all the dairy out of the refrigerator, so it's all nice and ready for you guys when we head back there in a minute. But first we conclude with a Torah song, of course, which is Sweet as Honey, and I think it's on your song sheet.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Let us soak it up, let it all sink in. Sweet words of Torah, let us soak it up, let it all sink in. Sweet words of Torah, one more time. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
You're all invited to check out the piece of metal that was an uninvited visitor to Hallie, but more joyous than that is joining us for dairy desserts in the breezeway. Shabbat Shalom.